Welcome to City League Sports, the show where we get into stories about all things Columbus City League. Today we have a former Beechcroft Cougar on the show. We are welcomed by Julian Miller. I am your host, Dr. Vince Clarino, and I'm excited to chop it up with today's guest. Let's get into some stories here. Julian, say hello to everybody.
What's going on, everybody back in Columbus, man? Glad to be here. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Certainly. Hey, tell everyone, where are you at right now? Tell everyone where you're at.
I'm actually at West Liberty University now, man. I'm defensive line coach here. Having a good time, enjoying pursuing this career of mine. So,
nice.
Right.
So tell everybody where West Liberty is at.
So West Liberty is pretty much the tippy top of West Virginia, in between Ohio and PA. So Wheeling, West Virginia is probably the best location point, but only 2 hours outside of Columbus, man. So that's actually my recruiting area too as well. So
nice. And you're also, so you're probably also in that you're about probably 40 minutes from Pittsburgh. Is that correct?
Yep. About an hour to 40 minutes Pittsburgh, and then, my old stomping ground, Morgantown, only about an hour south from here too.
Nice. So we're going to get into all of those things as the show gets going here. But so here's one of the beauties. I've been doing my homework on you. And you're a former Beechcroft guy. You come out like around 2006, 2007. You played for some really good Beechcroft teams, but you're like an all district, all city, all district, all league, all state player. So like you were balling back then when you were at Beechcroft, right? I mean, share everyone a little bit about Beechcroft, your time there, and then like, you know what I mean? Just like, here's one of the things I believe. I think it's very healthy for everyone to have a platform to bring up warm and nice memories. It's healthy for your soul, right? So you dig back about 15 years for us and tell everybody a little bit about your time at Beechcroft, walking around the hallways at Beechcroft High School.
Yeah, man. Like, it's crazy to even think, everything that's transpired from being at the Croft, man. Seriously. I originally actually went to Beechcroft to play basketball. That was my number one goal, was to come there, play basketball. Football was just kind of one of the things that, I always loved doing and playing. So, but it wound up working out to where, obviously it wound up being a career path for me. But, being at Beechcroft was awesome, man. They say it takes a village for some guys. And for me, the best part about being there was, man, just the support from, anywhere from your coaches to, teachers to administrators,
right.
Man. And, that's probably one of the best things or experiences that I've had coming out of there. Coming in as a freshman, probably one of the biggest, I would say, experiences that impacted my entire time there at Beechcroft was actually seeing guys like, Sergio Welch.
Yeah.
And, Eric, I want to say it was Eric Hawk at the time, a couple of those guys, City League guys, They actually had a signing at Beechcroft.
Nice.
They were all signing to Ohio State. And for me, growing up inner city, your first thought is that, you're coming there, you want to play sports, you want to do things, but seeing those guys, sign letters of intent, that was kind of a big impact for me. And people don't even realize like how much of an impact that was for me, just knowing that somebody in my position could be on that level and eventually be there. So, my freshman year, I got to experience that, and it kind of just carried the way and drove everything after that for me from a athletic standpoint. I was able to go out, play football, be a 3-year, starter on varsity, 4-year starter, on the basketball team, and
nice.
4-year varsity winner.
Well, and let's dive into the signings for a moment, because I think what you shared is important. I mean, like seeing other peers have that moment makes it real, right? Like that says, hey, I could be there one day if I just follow the path, follow the blueprint. But your blueprint, and I'm gonna go way back, right? Now we're going a little bit further. We first I start with some easy memories for you per se, right? Because they're relevant or they're closer in time. But I'm gonna go back a little bit further. We're talking about blueprint, and it's nice to hear you say basketball. We're going to circle back to your time at Beechcroft, but you got this really unique situation that I was able to find out there floating around the internet in your introduction into football. So share with all the listeners and viewers this story about your grandmother's will. Like that, I mean, that. Hey, when I was reading that, and I said, now that right there is interesting. Share that with everybody, because I think that's one a lot of folks would find very interesting and nice to hear.
Yeah, well, even before I get into that, let me shout out my grandmother and grandfather, both products of Columbus City, man.
Nice.
Both went to East High School.
The legendary as well East Tigers.
Yeah. And then my mom and
hold on. You can't give a shout out without saying their names. You got to give them some real love. So give grandma and grandpa some real love if we're going to shout them out.
Carol Ann Hargrove and Aline Rodman, they
nice.
Both, went to East High School. And then my mother, Kelly Miller, my uncles, Troy and John Hargrove all went to Mifflin High School. So,
okay.
The roots are there.
Yeah, but, certainly.
My grandmother, man, seriously, she was a real big football grandmother. And, a lot of my younger cousins had got to play early. And, in her dying will, man, she actually passed back in 1997.
Okay.
Also a reason why I wore number 97
nice. Okay.
throughout college and my time pro. But in her dying will, man, she said she wanted all her grandkids to at least get 1 year of, little league organized football. And so, my mom, she was one of those moms, she wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, things like that.
I get it, man. Parents' dreams and wishes, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And so then, my grandmother, once my grandmother put that in the will, man, my mom she held up her end of the bargain and allowed for me to play. And a lot of things just took off from there, man. I originally played my first year over in Westerville. And then after that, man, I'm a diehard 100%, man, Mifflin Shark.
I was gonna say I got that in my notes, man. Mifflin Sharks, man. I saw a young picture of you with your Mifflin Sharks jersey on, and much love to the Mifflin Sharks, man. They're still going strong here in Central Ohio, helping young people grow and mature and one day become the Julian Millers of the world. Right there, they're all like all these people are a part of that village and that fabric, somebody's support team. But what a vision for a grandmother who says, "Hey, look, I can see the benefits of football," right? And I want to make sure, like it meant so much to her to say, "Hey, look, for all of my offspring and children, I want you to make sure we get these young people exposed to a sport that can help you mature and grow in so many ways," right? And so you start off, you're a Mifflin Shark, Central Ohio guy playing football with the Sharks. And then from there, your journey. And I wanted to share that part of the story because I think it's important for people to hear, like what all go, like everybody's journey is a little bit different, but you got to have good people around you. And it sounds like from everything I've been able to read and come across, you've had a lot of good people around you. Like as you shared, your mother, your parents, those individuals who have been a constant part of your growth and development. But you get to Beechcroft High School. You wanting to hoop, and I know for our viewers who can't see, you're online and we're seeing it, but you're a big guy, man. Like, you're a big, like even when I was like, this is a big dude here, right? And so you played in high school football. Now we're going back to the football before we get into, maybe any of the multi-sport stuff that you were doing. Super athlete, but you played a little bit of offense. You played some tight end also, right? And is what I'm understanding at Beechcroft.
Yeah, and that kind of stems from, the first days there as a freshman. my first number was number 84. I knew I was going to be a receiver.
Okay.
I was all about Randy Moss and stuff at the time.
Randy's an easy. Randy was out cold.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so that kind of was my vision at first. But then, I got to, understanding more of the game throughout that freshman year. And I understood, where my strengths and weaknesses were. And, defensive side of the ball is just where I thrived, man.
Nice.
I enjoyed getting sacks. I enjoyed, man, running after the quarterback, making plays in the backfield. So I kind of just picked up on it.
Right. So you played a little bit of tight end, played some offense. Now let's talk about, share with everyone how being a multiple sport athlete in high school, how did that help you?
Probably the biggest thing that it did, it kind of broke me down into two parts. It allowed for me to be athletic in different aspects of the game where I needed to be. So just like you're saying, even when I played tight end and played defensive end, I had the stamina to go through games to do that because of, playing basketball and things like that.
Okay.
But it also allowed for me to, stay in shape throughout the entire year. And also, the aspect of being a part of a team, you're getting it in different forms, like not a lot of the same guys who are on the football team obviously are going to be on the basketball team.
Right.
So you're getting able to interact with different types of people, different types of cultures. And so, it's just the experience and things like that. And probably the best thing, you had those two sports, but I would say track and field helped out so much too, because it allowed for me to become, one with myself as an individual athlete.
Nice.
More of an individual sport. And you're able to go out there and compete and really, depend on yourself. So,
yeah. Well, and let's stay in this space for a moment. Like if you had someone come to you and they're asking you for some advice, Julian, man, what should I do? I understand the benefits, but do you still now, and we'll get to your current career path and what you're doing collegiately in football and coaching and those things, but do you see the benefits still for young people to be multiple sport athletes? Do you see that now? You're sitting on the other side as a college coach. Do you see that still?
Oh, definitely, man. To be honest with you, that's probably one of the best things that, as a college coach, man, I look for in certain guys, but it helps you, man, just develop a lot of social skills as well as individual skills for your athletic ability. Heck, you might be somebody who needs to work on hand-eye, coordination, and it might be a different sport in which you need to play to help you do that. But, you get a lot of, parents and a lot of individual athletes who think that, individualized sports or just focusing on one sport is the key to, get whatever ultimate goal they're reaching for. And it really, you're talking less than a 0.% of guys where that actually, is successful for. Whereas, if you're playing multiple sports, man, you're just getting, like I said, that experience in your body and your mind, everything is all benefiting from it. So
certainly,
it's definitely one of those things that I would encourage any and everybody play as much sports as you can, because sometimes you never know what fits or what sticks. Like I told you, I originally went to Beechcroft to play basketball.
Yeah. I love it. Hey, Julian Miller certified, play multiple sports, right? Like, you know what I mean? And so now here you are, you're at Beechcroft. You have this successful run as a football player. You're playing multiple sports. You're getting down in basketball. You're getting down in track and field. And so you're just a super athlete at the school. You're celebrated. Senior year, you roll around. You're like a 2006 grad, if I'm correct, right? 2006, 2007? 2007 graduate.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 2007 grad. And then here you are now, you're faced with this decision to say, like, what do I do next? So now I'm going off to college. I got some opportunities in front of me. How do you end up at West V, right? Like so how do you get down there, and how do you end up at West V?
Well, to be honest, that whole process, man, it was definitely an amazing experience for the simple fact that it was like my family and I. We've never really been around anybody else within my family or outside of my family who's gone through the process.
Okay.
So
everyone
Coach
grew.
Dunn,
Everyone grew off your experience. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Definitely. And Coach Dunlap, man, more kudos to him for what he did at Beechcroft as a head coach. But,
nice.
He had so many athletes before, and transitioned them into that. And he helped my mom out big time, getting us through the recruiting process, letting us know, what, recruiters are looking for, what to look for in a school. And so, my last couple schools came down to, I want to say it was Illinois, Michigan State, West V, Louisville, and I think the last one might have been Syracuse.
Okay. So some great opportunities. Yeah.
And so, my biggest thing was, trying to get out to visit these schools and things like that, and, get a feel for the campus and so on and so forth. And, one of the biggest visits that impacted my decision or me and my mom was just, and here's the thing, I didn't end up going here, but I took a visit to Illinois.
Okay.
And at the time, Jeff Cumberland was still there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he was there, and he actually, hosted me for the time while I was there. But just getting the real from somebody who had, walked in the same path as me helped me decide, like, what it is I wanted to look for in a school.
Right.
And, West V just kind of checked off all the boxes at the time, man.
Yeah.
They were a top 5 school at the time.
Yeah.
Their scheme kind of fit what I enjoyed doing well. And the best thing was that their coaches at that time were really on me hard, and they showed that they cared and wanted me there. And so, that was probably like all the biggest factors into me choosing, W.
Well, and here's the beauty of it, right? So like making the proper selection, like that matters to your experience, because you go there in a place that, you can feel at home, because even when you're a college athlete, that's only like one part of your existence. And in college, it's a major part. I don't want to fool any listeners or anybody, right? It's a major part in college because the time is demanding. Your organization is demanding. You're putting a lot of yourself out there to be able to compete at that level. It's high. It's a high volume, high experience. But when you feel comfortable, like you shared, you went through all these processes and made the right pick for yourself. When you feel comfortable, you're just having fun. You're just out there balling at that point, right? Is that what it really boiled down to for you?
Man, that's 100% what it boiled down to. Being able to just go out there, play, carefree, have fun, enjoy the full experience of being a college athlete. And the best part for me about, a school like West Virginia, it was only 3 hours away from Columbus. And my parents, everybody, if I needed them or I needed to go home at any point in time, I was able to do it. It was an easy drive. Yeah. So it's just so many factors, man, that just played into that. So
yeah, I mean, hey, that's the beauty of it, right? Like 3 hours for all of us Columbus folks out here. We got a lot of great universities that are 3 hours away, right? 4 hours away, and it's far enough where your kid can grow up, but close enough where you can hop in that car, mom and dad, and get there if your baby needs you. You know what I mean? Like your baby say, hey, I need something. You can hop in that car and get there in a day's drive. So you're at West V. And one of the things, so when I was in school, I was in school in a school in Pittsburgh called Duquesne. And so we would play West Virginia in basketball. And so I just got to share, like, man, my first West Virginia experience down there playing basketball, I see the mascot guy running around. What's the mascot guy's name down at West V? What do they call that mascot guy? Is he like the Mountaineer Man or something?
Yeah, it's just pretty much the Mountaineer. It changes throughout the years. So believe it or not, my time playing, and then actually right now, there have been female Mountaineers.
Oh, nice.
So it's really just the Mountaineer. Yeah,
the
so
Mountaineer.
It's really just the Mountaineer. Yeah,
well, one of the things that the Mountaineer gets to do for all the West Virginia people, they get to carry this fake musket gun thing that shoots off a loud bang. And we're down there, man, I don't even know what's going on. I see the person getting the crowd all hyped up, and the next thing I know, the person parks right behind our bench or near our bench, and then boom, shoots it like a cannon out of it. I mean, it scared the life out of all. We're like, what in the heck is going on? West Virginia fans get down. So you're playing football. You guys are rocking and rolling, and you made some strides, man. So share with everyone, like, give me a game. Give us a game when you just, like, you can look back memory wise, and you really have a nice fond memory of playing at West Virginia when you were there and they were in the Big East.
What's crazy, man? Like, I'm glad you brought up the fans. Shout out to them, because they really are like die hard.
Yeah.
That's one of the best part about that place. And I'll tell you another box that checked off for me in choosing that place was the fact that, man, you get treated as if you're a professional athlete. There's no professional teams in the entire state.
Oh, I guess I never thought about that. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop you. Go ahead. Yeah. But
no, you're all right.
You threw a little nugget my way and it made me go, you're right. But there's not any professional teams in the state. So West V is it then?
Yeah. West V is it, man. And so, those people come on any given Saturday, game day in Morgantown, man. That's the most populated city in the entire state.
Okay.
And they come out and they show love, like serious love. And that's what I've always appreciated about them. But, it's wild that my entire career there kind of all came full circle on my senior night, man. Last game playing there at a Milan Pushkar Stadium. We're playing Pitt, who's our biggest rival.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I just probably have one of the games for the ages, literally my best game of any level of football I've ever played. And it actually happened to be my 23rd birthday that same night.
Nice.
Yeah. So I wound up, man, 12 tackles, 4 sacks, tied the sack record at the school.
I'm making this face. I'm making this face because when you have 4 sacks in a game, listeners, you are out there balling. I mean, you balling when you got 4 sacks in one game.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm telling you, it was one of those games where I just blacked out. You know, you're playing, you're not even, recognizing exactly what's taking place at the time.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't even know, the stat line until, we're in the locker room after the game. We're all celebrating because we had actually won.
Okay. Yeah. And, I was going to say, you got the win.
Comes up. Yeah. Somebody walks up to me and tells me, he's like, man, he's like, oh, so you like that, huh? I'm like, what you mean? I was like, I know I had a couple of tackles, but he's like 12 tackles, 4 sacks. I was like, oh, you setting the tone. So I'm sitting there, that probably right there, man, just being able to walk off of that field.
Nice. Family was there. Everything. I take it. Family was there. Senior night. Family's
Senior
there.
Night, family's there.
Man, that's like storybook stuff. You know what I mean? That's storybook for you. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And it really was because my mom actually the year before that, she had just moved far away. So she hadn't actually made any home games that final season. So this was this was the last chance she had, and she was there, and my dad was there. Everybody was there.
That's pretty special. Awesome, man. Was that a tear that also was you having a teary-eyed moment for it?
No.
Okay, I just want to make because you're allowed to cry, but I mean I thought I saw you rub your eye, but let me share another piece for those also, like. And I get it, and I understand. We got a lot of Columbus listeners, and so the Ohio State-Michigan game is a big game. But in West Virginia, the West v. Pitt game is that game, right? That's that game. Yeah,
most definitely.
And here's a little funny thing for you. I think one year might have been maybe my sophomore year at Duquesne. We were playing at West Virginia, and I think we were playing them maybe 2 or 3 nights before they were scheduled to play Pitt. And when we get there, there's fans out there camping out, right? Students camp out, man, in college, they have fun. And we're thinking wow, they camped out for our game? You know what I mean? Because we're nobody, right? And so then they're like, no, they're camping out for the Pitt game. The Pitt game is 3 days from now. They're not camping out for your game. They're camping out for the Pitt game, right? So that's a big game. You have this wonderful moment. Like that as an experience has to be great. You got family there. You're doing all these wonderful things. But now getting into just some of the stats, because I want listeners and everyone to know how you got down. You're like top 3, 4 in school history and sacks, right? Here you are with 26 sacks over the course of a career. If I get the numbers wrong, correct me. I don't have any issue with that.
Yeah. Well, no. I've been talking to them about it. It's 27 and a half.
27 and a half.
Tied for second.
Okay, yes, indeed. So West Virginia Sports Information Department, come on now, 27 and 27.5. Don't take that 0.5 sack is important. That actually right. And but you had this really nice career, man. So obviously you get there, they develop you. Here you are, you're balling out, you're having all these amazing moments. And then I also read going into the experiences and staying in this space for a moment. You guys had a game where you were playing against UC, Cincinnati, in Cincinnati. So share why that game is special. A smile came across your face. That's a nice memory when a smile comes across your face.
Oh, man, no doubt. Even all my times there at the times I got to play against UC were always pretty good games for me, especially because they had recruited me pretty heavy. But that game in particular, man, it was my last time playing against them. Playing against, another former Columbus Public guy in Pitt, man, and we would have battles.
So Pitt was at UC when you all played.
Oh yeah, we played. I want to say head up at least 3, maybe 3 or 4 times. Okay. I might have been 3.
Yeah, we had Pitt on the show, man. We got love for Pitt.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah,
but but sure enough, man, we're going into that game, and that was actually before that Pitt game that I talked about. And we had to win our last 3 games. And that game came down to a blocked field goal. But we're not in that position for the blocked field goal if we're playing down in UC. I get all my Ohio family to come to the game. It's my senior year.
Yeah.
We actually wind up getting a sack on the quarterback. Ball rolls to the back of the end zone, man. And I actually jump on it for my first touchdown, man, in my college career.
Nice.
Which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dope, man.
Hey, when you play defense, right, for those that, because we got all ranges of listeners, and I think some people just tune in to the show just for the sheer dialogue, man. These types of organic moments where we get to chop it up about things. And in football, if you're a defender, or you play on the defensive end, you don't get an opportunity to score a lot of touchdowns. So to score a touchdown is special. So what Julian is sharing with everybody right now, man, is just an opportunity as a defender. Defense is playing big. You all get a sack. The ball comes loose. And then here you are. You find yourself in the end zone with the football, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, it wound up being a big play for us because we wound up having to block a field goal at the end of the game to actually win. So we don't get those 6 points, man. Who knows what happens? Yeah.
So now, so you have this great moment, and now I want to get into, because we're starting to get to our time. I told you the time goes by fast.
Oh, right, yeah.
The time goes by fast, and when you get to talking, man, you're having so much fun. But I read somewhere also that you shared a quote, and you were having a conversation with your mother, and maybe it was about one particular game or some of the games in general, and you said that you shared, we win as a team and lose as a team. And I think football is the ultimate team sport, but like, so now you're on the coaching side of it. Give some advice, give some thoughts to a high school kid who catches the show. They hear Julian Miller. They may not know your whole story, and then they look you up and they go, man, this dude was balling, right? And I want that. I want that piece, that career, that opportunity. Share some thoughts on what a kid can do to get where you're at. How does a 14-year-old get into your seat and get your experiences and have the success that you're having?
Probably the biggest thing, man, that I would tell young guys is to, one, just hold yourself accountable. Everything that you want to accomplish, everything that, you dream of doing, just hold yourself accountable. Stick to what it is that you want to do. Don't try to find, the easy way out, or don't try to take the easy road, man. Just, go through it. And the best part about just going through certain things is that those experiences that you come out on the other side with always help strengthen you for whatever it is your next opportunity or next chapter or phase in what you're doing becomes. And then, another thing too is just being authentic. Don't try to do something that you're not accustomed to. Don't try to be somebody who you're not. Just be yourself, and at the end of the day, it always lines up coming full circle for you. If you can just do, some of those little things. I teach my guys DNA. We talk about discipline is the D, no excuses is the N, and accountability is the last one. So I always try to tell my guys, man, just use our DNA, be who you are, stay disciplined to your truth, stay disciplined to what you want to do. Don't make excuses. That's probably the worst thing you could do. Don't make excuses. Just go out and fix it. And then the last thing is accountability. Like I said, man, just holding yourself accountable. Hey,
I was really eerily silent for a moment, and I don't know if you caught that, but because I actually was writing that down in my notes, and not so much that I've never heard it before, but I just love the way you put it, right? Because like when you hold yourself accountable, you can't get into a space where you're blaming someone else for your shortcomings or your failures. You're saying, hey, look, I have to dig within me and find a solution. And sometimes finding the solution may mean reaching out for some support and reaching out for help. But you have to, that's a part of being accountable, knowing when you need to ask for help, right? Like if you realize, hey, I'm stuck here, I need some help, be willing to ask and reach out for some help. So I say this, before we move on from West Virginia, that was amazing advice. I want to make sure I share so people know, like, you were an all Big East player, right? Like, so this, I mean, I want people to understand how much you were balling while you were there, and those wonderful things. And so all of that kind of now leads you to share with everyone, what are you like? Share with everyone what are you doing now? And I know we talked a little bit about it, but kind of give that full circle for us.
Well, probably the biggest thing in understanding, you know, my truth and, you know, who I am as an individual, as a player, or well, as a former player, former athlete, was just, you know, coming to the realization that, you know, what this sport of football has done for me, and just being able to, you know, take a step back and just look at my journey and understand, you know, my experiences can help others. And so, you know, throughout the past couple of years, you know, I've tried, you know, I've played professionally, you know, and things like that. And, you know, I kind of, once I decided to hang up the cleats, man, I'm like, you know, how can I give back? And that's probably my biggest thing, just trying to figure out how I can give back. And the best thing that probably could have happened to me was, you know, I had a former, you know, guy who he worked at West V when I was a player there, and he actually wound up being a high school head coach down in Florida.
Okay.
And he called me up one time, and I was back in Columbus, you know, just trying to figure things out. And he called me up, man. He said, "Hey, would you like to come down? I got an opportunity for you if you want to get into coaching." I get down there, coach for 3 years, you know, and I just completely fall in love with just the aspect of, you know, being able to, you know, touch, you know, young, you know, individuals, young men, and then allowing them to understand that, you know, there's more things, you know, available for you. And, you know, I have the experience to help you get there. But you just kind of got to, you know, believe in me, trust me, things like that. So, you know, fast forward to, you know, a couple of years ago, I actually got an opportunity to come back to West Virginia University and be a graduate assistant coach. Okay. And so coaching at the Division I level, man, you just get that experience. You know, I'm back in the, you know, the big lights and, you know, coaching guys. And so I just fall fully in love with it, man. Just my ability to teach guys, you know, things that I know helped me as an individual athlete, but then also, you know, as a young man off the field, you know, experiences that I've gone through. And it wound up becoming, coaching didn't just become, you know, coaching for me. It became almost like ministry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a life calling for you.
Exactly. And so it was one of those things where, you know, at first I was like, do I really want to do it? But it's just kind of sucked me in. And I'm just, you know, so happy to be where I'm at now, you know, being able to impact lives and, you know, just try to change.
You're riding the wave right now. You're riding the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so here's what's beautiful. And I look at your experiences, and you spoke a lot about that just now, and you shared that with all of our listeners. You've had a big city life experience growing up, living in Columbus. I know some people don't know. Yeah, we're a big city, folks. We're like the 13th, 14th largest city in America. Like, not every place is like this. This is a big place, right? And then you go to West V and you have a big school experience in a small town, which is great, right? So, you know, there are a lot of big school experiences. You know, University of Michigan, if you go up like to Ann Arbor, that's a big school in a small town. Alabama's a big school in a small town, right? And you got all those. So not every school is sitting in Ohio State in a large city, right? So you go big city experience growing up, big time football at your high school at Beechcroft, big time college experience, and then you sprinkle in and you have these small town experiences and those things. So you have the whole gamut of life experiences that you can share. So when you're out there recruiting, you can say to somebody from a Columbus, or you can say to someone from a Mansfield, hey, look, here goes some opportunities that we have for you. Here's an opportunity for you to grow and find your path. I think what you're doing is phenomenal, man. It's amazing. I'm happy to be a part of, you know what I mean, a part of getting a chance to tell your story here today. This has been a lot of fun. For everybody that like, you know what I mean, is like that tunes into our show. You've been a gem. What you've been able to experience and what you've been able to do has been really special. Before I get to our outro, share any lasting words or thoughts, man. Shout outs, anything you want to do as we begin to transition out of here today.
I mean, definitely, I got to shout out Beechcroft, man. Seriously, because that's kind of where the foundation was built. So I appreciate that. Probably the biggest thing, though, that I want to just dude, shout out you, man, because what you're doing is honestly big. You know, these stories from, you know, our city just need to be told, man. And, you know, I'm a humble guy, introverted, you know, so I was never, you know, the big loudmouth guy. So, you know, heck, without this opportunity, there's a lot of people that probably wouldn't know about me, you know, and a lot of the things that I've accomplished. So I just want to thank you for, you know, giving me this platform to, you know, tell my story, man. And just, certainly, you know, it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, man, we got love for you here, and let me share, right? So like, I'm fortunate to have spent, you know, 25 years here in Columbus City Schools, and I'll piggyback on your shout out here, because our school district is fortunate to have recognized we need to tell these types of stories. We need to give the platform for individuals like you who are out there getting it in and have, you know, you're a part of our success story as well. So I'm fortunate to be with a group. I'm just the lucky person that gets to sit in front of the mic. The producers and the team that makes all this magic happen, they're amazing. Right. And so I'm happy to be a part of this part of our story, right? Columbus City story. And we got some people that are just starting to get it. Folks don't understand, man, like we're on this amazing verge and we're doing some special stuff, and we're going to keep doing some special stuff because, as you know, our listeners, we combine former athletes like yourself, former players, and we intertwine current students who are out there getting it in. It's just a fun space to be able to tell these stories. You have been amazing here today. I wish you nothing but success, man. You know, we'll find out where you're at in a couple years, man, and we'll just keep the city updated on what Julian is out there in the world doing, man. And then when you get you know, next time you're in Columbus, you're recruiting kids, look us up. We'll help somebody navigate their way to West Liberty and find their path there to you. I'm going to do an outro. We're going to get out of here. We had a lot of fun today. Hey, look, much respect to you, much love to you and everything that you've done. Amazing time. West V and Pitt, 12 tackles, 4 sacks. That's a fun day on your birthday, right? Like, I don't know if birthdays get much better than that. That's a fun piece of your story. So much love to you, man. Be sure to catch all future episodes on radio WCBE 90.5 FM. Also catch us on Spotify, Apple, or the platform you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. Additionally, follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. I am your host, Dr. Vince Clarino, Julian Miller, City League Sports. We're out of here.